Listen to this. Having friends can help you live longer, energize your marriage, and decrease depression. But according to a survey, the average American adult hasn't made a single new friend in the last 5 years. Well, it's time to change that. We're learning how to make and keep friends, and that's our featured story on today's Top of the List.
Human connection is more important than most of us realize.
It affects how long we live more than our diet, more than how much we exercise. Like, there's a commonly cited statistic that loneliness is as toxic for our bodies as smoking 15 cigarettes a day.
Professor, speaker, and author of the new New York Times bestseller Platonic, Dr. Marissa G. Franco, says friendship can literally save our lives.
Just like we need food, water to function, we need connection.
So first, let's take a deeper look into why friendship is so crucial.
There's actually 3 different forms of loneliness, only one that's fulfilled by a spouse.
But as a society, Dr. Franco says we tend to focus more on romantic relationships.
In fact, to be in a healthy romantic partnership, you need friends, according to the research.
Because science shows
We're happier around our friends than around our spouse because there's less responsibility when you're around your friends, less obligation.
Research also shows we're happiest around our spouse and our friends, and that having friends not only affects you positively, but also your partner.
Because it's something called concordance, which basically means that the mental health of spouses ricochets off each other. So if something makes one of them happy, it's going to make the other happy.
So that brings us to how to make friends.
For friendship to happen organically, we need repeated unplanned interaction and to let our guard down. And we have that as kids, right? Gym, recess, lunch. As adults, we do not.
And that means you're gonna have to put in the effort, and one way to do that is to assume that people like you.
The biggest barrier is people are so afraid of rejection, but the science shows us you're less likely to get rejected than you think.
Dr. Franco says there's something called the liking gap. Basically, how much you think a person likes you versus their actual opinion.
In general, people underestimated how liked they were. And not only that, but people that were more self-critical, their liking gap was more pronounced. So they thought their critical voice was telling them the truth when in fact it was really distorting the truth.
Another way to find friends is to join something that's ongoing.
So not the book lecture, but the book workshop. Why? Because then we capitalize on something called the mere exposure effect, which is our tendency to like people more the more exposed we are to them.
So even though you may feel awkward at first, she says if you stick it out for 3 months or so, you'll likely find a connection. And finally, let's look at how to be a good friend. Because most people think you have to be funny and insightful to build those relationships.
But in fact, that's being entertaining is the least important trait people report wanting in a friend. The most important is ego support, which is people make me feel like I matter.
And again, there's a real science behind all of this. It's called the theory of inferred attraction.
That people like people that they think like them. So just showing interest in other people and being kind and nice to other people, right? And then asking them to hang out.
So get out there and make those friendships happen. Finding friends is at the top of the list.